comment is closed. And now we will move to the measure that most of you testified on, Member Holland's resolution in support of Assembly Bill 2312. Any discussion on that matter, Member Holland?
I just passed this out, and there is some language changes to it, and I'm sorry that you haven't had a chance more to review it. It was asked, I just passed it out, it was asked of me like about an hour beforehand to make some changes. The most substantive change in it, just to highlight, is that it includes Obama and Eric Holder. And I think it's important today. The reason why I think there's this new emphasis on Obama is today in Rolling Stone magazine, the president defended going after medical marijuana. And the magazine basically was interviewing him, and they were noting that he has actually been much more aggressive in terms of shutting down medical marijuana facilities than Bush was. Just for clarity. Much more aggressive. And I think, I mean, those of us who are in this room, I think all support medical marijuana. And I think the challenge that I would say is, he said, one of the things that I really appreciate about his interview was he said, I think greater debate is needed on this issue. Well, this is our moment to increase greater debate. And I would say that since the president welcomed in the interview debate, here's a moment for us to say, we debate you, Mr. President, and say that in San Francisco, we believe in medical marijuana. And in my remarks, I had planned on saying I was also disturbed by the fact that I had read an article about how a UC doctor kicked a patient who was dying of cancer out of their facility for using medical marijuana. And I was also disturbed to learn during the course of Michael's, and by Michael I mean Michael Goldstein, that he was harassed in his dying days at a facility that I care about, SF General and UC, for using medical marijuana. And I don't think that that's the kind of city we want to live in. So I actually want to follow up, and there's some things that you brought up around Healthy San Francisco that I think that we could talk about in terms of how we treat it as a medical issue, that I would like to follow up maybe next month for a resolution. But for now, I would just ask that we consider, and I ask that this resolution be in Michael's name. And I know that these things are challenging for us because we all cared about Michael very much and loved him. Everyone in this room, I think I could say without hesitation, really cared about him. Yeah. And if he was here, he would be carrying this resolution. And I'm sorry he's not. And I miss him. And I just want to say that in his name, I ask that we do this resolution by acclamation. And I appreciate that some may need to abstain, but I just wanted to ask that we do that.
Thank you, Member Holland. Is there any additional comment on this?
I want to thank Gabriel for his leadership on this. And I'm proud to be a co-sponsor of it. I read the Rolling Stone interview today, and I just thought it was infuriating. And in addition, separate and apart from the policy matter, we're also political. We're an organization of Democrats, and one of the things that I was thinking of was, as Democrats, we've got to say, this is, what are you thinking politically? This is the generation of Democrats. And the only other thing, and I'm glad that actually we're going to have a debate and name names. The only other one, and I'm going to say that I love Barbara Boxer, but the one person, the U.S. Senator who recommended Melinda Haig was giving us all these problems, is Barbara Boxer.
Yes.
So I don't know if we'd want to.
I'm happy to.
Well, it says an all Democratic elected, all elected Democrats. So if this is passed, our staff will send this to the entire delegation, and Ms. Boxer, we can include in that. And Emily, if you would note that if this passes, that would be the request and I don't think we have to amend, and let it be noted that Member Chu has joined us. Is there any additional discussion, Member Avalos?
Yeah, just
and
that.
We've been joined by Member Shea, somewhere in there. I got on behalf of Senator Yi.
As someone who's a political opponent in District 11, organized a march against medical cannabis dispensaries in District 11, I want to put my name in as a co-sponsor.
Thank you.
Okay.
And then just for clarification, Milton Marks has to be added as a co-sponsor as well.
Okay, so
I was on this
This is something
yes.
that.
So let the record show that members Marks and Avalos will be added as co-sponsors. Colleagues, with the abstention of Spear and Feinstein, can we?
abstain.
I'm sorry.
I abstain.
And Harris, right? Got it. Okay, Spear, Feinstein,
And
Aaron, Ma, and Spear, Feinstein, Ma, and Harris. Otherwise, are we good to go?
Aaron?
Yes?
I just want to compliment Gabriel on one other thing that you did. It's not just that, you also made some change, the first paragraph, which I think is better too. Because sometimes there's a tendency to point the finger at the Democratic leader, Nancy Pelosi, which I think is unfair. So I think that this is better written. Thank you.
So on the resolution as reintroduced by Member Holland, as co-sponsored by pretty much a lot of people, can we motion made by Holland, seconded by Rosenthal, on that with Spear, Feinstein, Ma, and Harris abstaining? Can we consider that to be approved? It is approved. Congratulations. Hold on a second.
You're told, yeah, you keep them there, and we're taking you and your building. So a lot of the landowners, are sad that they need to ask people to leave, but there's not a lot of alternatives, and what it really does is it shuts down legitimate safe access, and it shuts down, a regulatory program.
I don't know what Kathy is, but can you talk a little bit more about what you mentioned around the ideas of San Francisco coming up with a municipal plan to deal with this?
Sure. Originally, the voters of San Francisco approved Proposition S, which was basically stated that the city should grow for low-income patients. Everybody voted for it.
Do you know what year that was?
Geez, it was 2002.
It's okay.
And it was just a policy piece. Like, it was so sad because all these low-income patients were like, yeah, and now we're going to get our own garden. And I'm like, no, that's what's called a policy piece. We're decades away from that. And the city came up with a myriad of excuses of why they couldn't do any land for this. There was a myriad of excuses why Prop S couldn't be implemented. And most of the people interested in participating in the program walked away from the table and started their own program, like myself, like the Aldriches. Because, okay, the city's not going to help us take care of low-income patients, and a lot of times when you get sick, you get poor. The two kind of go hand in hand, unless you're real rich. And what I'm looking at, and what I think needs to happen anyway, is a way to incorporate Healthy San Francisco, Prop S. We already have these components there, right? We already have the voter-approved Prop S. We already have Healthy San Francisco, where you can put a copay to your morphine, to your fentanyl patches, to your Dilaudid, since we're already prescribing people really heavy, really lethal narcotics.
But then just all of a sudden turn a warrant on the new landowner?
Well, they're going through really systematically. Their first cry of Melinda Haag is everybody within 1,000 feet. But the scary thing is, how she's defining it. It's not as we define it, right? So 1,000 feet from, you know, an elementary school, etc. Well, they're defining it as anywhere children congregate. So, you know, that's really bad. You know, and what happened to HopeNet was that a preschool moved, they had already, so they came to the nuisance, right, is what it's called in land use. They had already been established for years. A Mandarin preschool immersion school located near them.
Where are they again?
They're right on 10th and Howard.
10th and Howard? Okay.
Yeah, at the church.
Yeah.
In the church.
Right. So because, you know, in any other land situation, that would be the nuisance coming to you, right? Because you've already been established in the neighborhood. So, you know, I mean, God forbid the feds decide to open up preschools everywhere. Like, oh, sorry, gotta shut you down. We moved a preschool next to you. I mean...
But can I ask a question about what is the thinking? You know, I don't really get it with nightlife either, because we have the same thing, like no preschools, no schools, and I'm just trying to figure out what the
family food.
It comes from a 1980s drug law where there were actually people sending younger children to do drug running of crack cocaine in their schools, and so this whole movement started, right? And there was an original problem, you know. Yeah, there's who are, you know, using...
That's still a problem.
The government
and it's still a
dope.
problem.
Right, it's still a problem.
You still have the guy, you know, who's
Taking
running the
advantage.
young kid and,
Right.
you know, saying, hey, you take this from point A to point B and bring that back to me. That guy still is out there. I agree.
Yeah.
And the law didn't help that guy not be out there. I think the guy in the CIA that's giving the crack cocaine to people is the real problem. And he probably came around the 80s when these laws were being implicated. I don't know, I mean, it's very conspiracy.
So they could protect their source.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What about children trying to sell us dope?
It's to try to break Manning into incriminating Joni Massage in some way that the grand jury has not been able to do. Evidently, they have not succeeded in doing it.
Is there a way to quantify the importance of this case in terms of our ability to know what our government is doing?
So weird. See if Stephen is right about how this man cooks.
Social anxiety disorder. Social anxiety disorder. Social anxiety disorder. Social anxiety disorder.
My recommendation is that you gobble these up like Tic Tacs.
Get closer to me,
Magic pill. Let's see if this drug works.